What's up? We made it in. We made it in. Made it in. We're down a pair of pants. That's okay because we could just go buy some. We'll find some. We'll make them fit. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the video. As the title says, this is a Disney planning video, and this is more for parents, especially you dads out there. I think a lot of dads get a bad rap going to Disney because maybe their kids or their partner are way more into it than you are. And I think it's really important for you to buy into the process because it's a really great place for anyone, not just for kids. Disney is really great for my family because it's one of the few places that it is great for kids. It's okay if there's a meltdown, there's snacks and fun things to do, and it just makes it super easy to do. So, know what you want to do. I hate It's a Small World. It's one of my least favorite rides. A lot of people love it. I unwillingly go on it and put a smile on my face because I know it matters. Because I want to get on one of the 3 mountains, like Space Mountain, Splash Mountain, No More here, Big Thunder Railroad, you name it. I want to do the more thrilling stuff, but I realize that there's a lot more to do with the kiddos, so we've got to balance it. That also being said, I care about where we eat dinner and meals because I want to mix it up. I don't just want to eat hot dogs all the time. So not only am I planning the days and looking at crowd levels to try and figure out when is the best time of year to go, but then also which park might be the most busy that day, but I'm also balancing things around and saying, hey, let's do these parks or this park, depending on what kind of pass you have for that day, over these, and trying to plan things out. I'm balancing logistics and trying to balance transportation so that there's always an easy out. Like if somebody has a meltdown, we can quickly get back to the room for a nap or to chill. So I'm always trying to plan logistics because you never know. You want it to be seamless, but if I find anything with Disney with kids is you just got to go with the flow. You can't make everything that you want to happen in one day happen until your kids get a little older. My kids are 1 and 3. So we've got to kind of follow their schedule. My second tip is to make a packing list and an itinerary that's printed off. I'm a paper person. I want to see where we're going, and also it helps to kind of get everyone on agreement because if we agree on ahead of time, you and whoever you're traveling with, there's no surprises, and you can shift things around and make adjustments. So it's really helpful to have everything printed off, where you're eating, where you're going. I like to add in how we're getting transportation, park open and close. You don't have to do that. Maybe just having a 5-day calendar or however many days you are there and just spell it out. I think it's helpful because everyone's in agreement. Everyone can look at the same thing. No big deal. The other reason I like to make a packing list, and I like to do this for my family so that we can follow things and we don't forget things because as many of you know with children, there's lots of things that you can forget. And what's great about being at Disney is it's easy to find the things that you've forgotten. They may have it there for you for free to borrow, or you can get it delivered, or you can purchase it or rent it. But I hate doing that, so I really like to make a packing list, and we kind of have a running packing list with my family so that we can update it and change things. We have a beach section or a winter section, but we try and standardize it because I hate reinventing the wheel every time that there's a new packing list. And I've actually put it in a PDF form and it'll be attached below. Somehow I'll figure out how to get it here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But I really like to have the packing list because it makes things really easy to remember. It makes getting ready for the trip much faster. Also, a little extra tip here is pack a few days ahead of time. Be ready to go like a few days prior, because you might forget something or want to add something. There's nothing worse than trying to leave for a flight. There's nothing worse than getting ready for a long drive or getting ready for an early flight and then trying to pack late the night before. So another pro tip in there is pack a few days ahead of time and have everything laid out. My third tip is pack for the park. If you're able to use a stroller, make sure that you have a stroller. Try and make sure it fits through doorways. We use a double wide. I also recommend using 2 singles because there are certain places in the park where you do or do not have to take your stroller down. If you have multiple kids, wagons are not allowed inside the park, so make sure you know what you're taking and can it get into the park. We primarily focus on the health and safety of our kids, so things like water and fans if it's going to be warm, rain cover if it's going to rain. It does rain a lot. If you've seen any of the videos on YouTube, there's tons of rain down at Disney, so make sure you pack for the weather and are prepared. One thing you may or may not know is that with Disney, you can bring snacks into the park. You can also bring beverages into the park. It just is going to be checked at the gate as you go through security, but you can also purchase stuff there. But if you have your kids' favorite snacks, you can bring them along so that they You can bring things into the park to snack on, so you can bring your kids' favorite snacks. There's also a lot of consistency with snacks across the park at Disney, which I really am happy with and excited about, and is one of the reasons why we like to go. But it can get expensive buying snacks, so bring your own snacks, bring your own water bottle, fill up ahead of time at the hotel. You can get free water in the parks too, so I like to bring a wide mouth Nalgene and just keep it full of ice. If you also want to, you can bring one of those cool vacuum thermoses. I really like to use one of the stainless steel type and fill that full of ice and just get water throughout the park. I think there's also a bit of a chlorine taste to the water in the park, which doesn't bother me. It just tastes like Disney. If you know about Florida water, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So maybe you want a water bottle that has a filter in it to cut down some of that flavor, but if you're also running on Coca-Cola, then you really can't taste it. So hey, user's preference there. One other thing about packing for the park is knowing what meal plans you're gonna have. Maybe you wanna bring sandwiches for lunch. You're gonna eat breakfast at the hotel. Certain parks will let you in early to have snacks, but there are also breakfast options inside of there are also breakfast options inside of the park. So make sure you kind of know and have planned out what your meal plan is going to look like. It just makes the transition easier, and you know where to be at what parks. Maybe you have a reservation. We like to eat in the park. We like to make rope drop. Get in the park, have breakfast. It's generally quick, and then you'll just have lunch. We like to do walk up, and once or twice while we're there, we do a sit down dinner, but it can get kind of expensive. So my fourth tip is to ask the cast members that are there for tips and tricks. Ask them what they would want to do. They're there all day. They have a really good idea about what to do and what not to do, and they are a great resource, not only to find your way around the park, to figure out where to park your stroller, what snacks are best, what's open, but also they can tell you maybe some tricks or some really cool insider tips while you're there. Obviously, there are some cast members, and then there are other, like Winnie the Pooh or Mickey Mouse. You're not going to go up to Mickey Mouse and ask questions. But there are lots of cast members, if you will, that are in stores and are help cleaning up in the food stands. A lot of them can give you a lot of insights, and they're very helpful. So don't be afraid to go up and ask for directions, or really just start a conversation with someone, because chances are they know a lot more about the ride in the park than you'll ever know because they work there. So my fifth tip is to use the app. There's tons of tools So my fifth tip is to use the app. It is an amazing tool. You don't have to pay for Lightning Lane, but I definitely recommend using it to try and get ride reservations. We like to use it for specific rides that we know we want to ride, so we'll get our reservations so that we can balance our days around those, get on there, see what's available, short wait times, or what we can walk on, so that we're constantly keeping our kids entertained and we're entertained, and we can base our snacks off of where we're going for rides. It's really helpful. It also will tell you what rides may or may not be up or down, because they do close from time to time. Obviously, there's a lot of moving parts to that. And there's also notifications that come out through the app. If you have a little bit older ones, there's also a lot of games you can play, or even if you're in like the Star Wars world, there's tons of things you can do through the different apps. It's pretty interactive, which is awesome. And there's even, I think there's a DuckTales game that you can play at Epcot, so you can interact with things in the exhibits, There's a DuckTales app that you can use, or the game in there, I believe, that you can use at Epcot to interact with things at the exhibit. So there's a lot of tools, fun games, a lot of things you can do with that more than just make rides. But I do recommend paying for the Genie Plus. So this week seems to be pretty busy down there, and this is the first time that I've seen Genie Plus sold out at all the parks. Pretty amazing. My sixth tip is don't overdo it. That goes for all of you parents. Don't overdo the drinking part. And then don't try and fit 10 pounds of something in a 5-pound bag. Just go with the flow. We've got friends that we've talked to too, and they try and put a ton of reservations in and a ton of things. And to be honest with you, my simple flow is if you're gonna make a dining reservation, do it for breakfast and then see where you get through the day. There are a lot of people who try and get an early dining reservation and then tear through the park, and it's just a mess. Your kids are not gonna get up early, rush to dinner or breakfast reservation, and then work your way through. We like to make a dinner reservation, go to one park that day, see where we get, or make a breakfast reservation and then try and get to a park that day, see where we can get. I also don't recommend you go to the park every day. Try and space your vacation out so you have some off days. It's really nice to just take a chill, especially if you're with younger kids. If you have older kids, go for it. If you're especially with your adults, I've seen a lot of bachelorette parties down there, a lot of fun gatherings with friends. Get as much done as you humanly can, but especially with young kids, take it easy. Don't do it all, you can always go back. My 7th tip, and the last thing I want to say, is use a hopper pass. The hopper pass, especially with the old hopper rules where you can move around at will, was really nice because you could use transportation through different parks. They've added a lot more transportation like the Skyliner, which is awesome, but now with different hopper rules, depending on when you watch this video, currently you have to hop after 2 p.m. You no longer need a reservation, but you can hop after 2 p.m. So it's not necessarily helpful to get to a park in the morning, but getting back through parks, it's nice to maybe take the monorail to chill out or to relax. The other thing is you can get different parks. You might be able to make do a breakfast in the morning at one park and a dinner reservation at night and get some stuff in between. Or if you have kids and someone to watch your kids, you can go to Magic Kingdom in the morning, and then you as parents in the evening time can go to Epcot. It gives you lots and lots of flexibility. It is quite a bit more expensive than a very expensive park ticket, but it is a nice option if it's in your budget. I hope this helps. I'd love to hear from you all. Please comment down below what your favorite tip is or something that I should add to this list. But again, these are my big tips that I like to follow. A couple other things, especially for your dads out there, is have a good dad bag and have things organized. It never helps to be too organized, and it makes the day a lot easier. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.